Welcome, parents.
My name is Blanca.
And I am Nancy, and thank you very much for answering the phone calls for the follow-ups.
It's important for you to continue to practice your child's game. Remember, 2 to 3 times a week with each child. And it is also important to do your handouts, your homework. If you have any questions or we need to review them, we'll do it at our Zoom meeting. Please keep in mind to maintain these homework sheets, because we will be utilizing them throughout the sessions in the near future.
Yes, and like Blanca said, remember, child's game is this time is for each child, so remember to spend some time with each child individually. So parents, now we're going to go into session 5, which is noticing and ignoring. Remember that we can't really change people's behavior, but we can change our own behaviors in ways that people change theirs. So it's very important that when we want to change a child's behavior, we want to do it in a way that we put more attention to the positive things instead of the negative behavior that they have. Remember that kids want attention. Either if it's good or bad attention, they still want attention. So most of the times we tend to look at the negative behavior, the things that we don't like about them, or the things that we don't like them to do, and we pay attention to those little things. So that's why some of the kids keep on doing this negative behaviors or this behaviors that we don't like, because attention, either good or bad, it's at the end is attention.
For example, so a child's attention would be the yelling, the screaming, the I don't know,
rolling of the eyes,
all that. For parents to come and say, stop doing that, that becomes accustomed to the child, and they learn that this is the only way to get my mom's attention. How we mentioned in previous segments, the shoving or the fighting with the brothers and sisters, or bringing a chaotic environment at home, and mom comes around and focuses on that, therefore they will continue to do that behavior, correct?
That's correct, because at the end, that attention is better than no attention at all. Yeah. So that's why kids will continue with this behavior.
Remember that this tool that we're showing you today, or teaching you, is not only efficient with our children, but it is a daily tool that we utilize with our coworkers, with our friends, with our spouse. This is a way to get something that you want from that person. Okay, for example, how Nancy mentioned earlier, recognizing good behavior will stimulate for them to continue that behavior. Okay, so it is important, and this is something that, again, it could be utilized in a daily basis, not only with your children.
Yes, and it is really important that the best reward is your time, your attention, and the praise. Not the things you buy at the store, but your time.
Okay, so we're gonna review your handout 5.1 and 5.2. Okay, basically reward right away. Okay, when the behavior happens, immediately pay attention. That's when we do the observation with our children. We're constantly observing. So when the behavior that you want to change in your child happens, you reward immediately. Okay, by saying something simple as, thank you for taking out the trash when I asked you to. Okay, 2, say what you like. Again, thank you for taking out the trash when I asked you to. Be consistent. Remember that we're at the beginning, when we're trying to change or modify a behavior, it has to be consistent. You are also in charge of keeping track of this behavior, because they have to understand that this is what you want to do. Therefore, consistency. Be genuine. Remember, when you praise or when you acknowledge that behavior that you want them to do, know and show them that you really are happy and proud that they're doing what you asked them to do, not in a way that it's fake. They will know. Our kids know.
Or ironic.
Yeah, there you go. Rewarding. Be sure the reward is something your kids like. I know we've talked about this also in the past, as far as when you give a reward, they have to want that reward, because sometimes we do something that we want with them, and instead of being a reward, it's going to be more like, it's a consequence. Okay, Once you, in the last, reduce your rewards. So you reduce the rewards once learned. Remember that once it becomes a habit and the child understands like this is what they're doing, you'll see that. You start reducing the rewards. Okay.
Okay, parents, so now we're going to go to your handout 5.2, which is called 5 kinds of rewards. In this handout, it's going to explain you the kinds of rewards, and we're going to briefly go over them. A, specific rewards. These are rewards that you specifically tell your child. For example, I like it when you take out the trash, or good job on the homework. You finished it fast today, or hey, that shirt looks really pretty on you. So just try to be really specific on the reward, on the praise that you want to give your child.
Okay, general rewards. General rewards are in the word. I mean, it's general. It's not specific to a behavior or something they did. So it's that's great, great job, keep it going. Oh, you're so beautiful, great. Those are all general statements that, although they are reward and they're good to apply them, but remember, it's very important to know and tell our children exactly what we like so they can continue with that behavior.
Okay, the next one is the physical rewards. They're good anytime, but they're also good as reward. So examples of this physical rewards would be like high five, maybe a pat at the shoulder, a squeeze, a hug, a kiss. It depends if your child likes it.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
So if your child likes it, this would be a good physical reward. Remember, it has to be liked by the child, accepted by the child, because if it's something that they don't like, it's not gonna work.
Privileges, okay, that's another way of reward. Privileges are things that they're earned, okay? For example, they're able to stay up a little bit late, like 5, 10, 15 minutes, depending on your schedule at home, to go to bed a little bit later, to pick the movie that they're gonna watch on movie night, the remote. I know for those families who have a lot of children at home, they want to fight for the TV remote. Maybe today is Johnny's day of remote, okay? Those are called privileges.
And lastly is the material rewards. These are used, but we would like you to use them less. And these are things like snacks, things you can buy at the store, money. And the reason why we would like you to use them less is because we don't want children to get used to receiving things that we buy from the store. Why? Because sometimes we might not have the possibilities to buy these things for them, or it could create a problem. You know, the more you give them, the more they want, and they can come to really pricey gifts that they want, and you might not be able financially to buy them for them. So it's really important that you keep these things as less as possible and try to do more of the social rewarding and the general rewarding.
Okay, so if you go into your handout 5.3, steps of ignoring. Okay, and this is how you ignore behavior that you don't want, or the behavior that you want to change. Okay, 1, don't look at the child. Remember that what you want to do is turn your head completely away, if possible your entire body, and turn your way. Either walk away if the child is not in immediate danger, or ignore it. Your complete body change will give your child the message that that's not a wanted behavior. Okay. 2, don't show feelings. I know parents, this is a little bit hard for us mothers especially, that we want to say, oh, I'm sorry, or even feel bad for our child, or anger as far as like, even though we are not talking to our child or we're giving our backs, our body language has a lot to say as far as our feelings. Okay, so that, or be careful with that. 2, ignore by 3, ignore by not talking to your child. Remember, it is important to give them that cold shoulder. No, I'm not here. I'm not gonna talk to you. They're gonna come to you and say, mom, you know, like no attention. Remember, all this attention, we're trying to shift it into a positive one. For example, when you have multiple children, okay, and 3 out of the 4 are playing nicely, but the 4th one is playing messy with their toys, so you shift your attention and focus to the 3 children who are playing nice and quietly and properly with their toys. Okay. Do not touch the child. Remember, this is still attention. You might not think at that time, it's still attention. It's and you're trying to take that completely away, okay? So by touching me, like stop, or do this, or sometimes even we hug and we're like trying to keep away. Do not. We're again taking away that attention. Another one is always ignore that behavior unless dangerous or intolerable. Remember how we spoke earlier? If the child is not hurting themselves or hurting someone else or not immediate danger, you can ignore it. This goes back to, I don't know if you had situations where a child's throwing tantrums. That's fine if they're crying, that can be ignored. However, when they're hitting themselves in the floor or potentially throwing themselves back, that's something you cannot ignore. 6, watch out for outsider rewards. This is a situation where if a behavior is not changing and you notice, hey, you know what, I'm doing everything that Nancy's telling me, I'm following all the rules, yet the behavior hasn't changed. Be careful of other family members in the home. Be careful of other situations that are perhaps happening in home, because they might be getting reward by grandma, by dad, by the sister. Remember that it's important that everybody in the household understands the concept and what you're trying to do with this child or this behavior. That's so everybody can work together and avoid this kind of situations. Okay? Other people around you, once you explain to them, like, look, sorry ma'am, but I'm trying to do parenting or something with them, they will understand. Another one, 7, beware of nagging, okay? Nagging is another way for them to get attention. Remember, parents fall also in this category. We've been focusing on our children's behavior that we don't realize what we do. Sometimes as parents, we will follow our kids, say, oh my God, I told you not to do this, I told you to do this, I told you to do that. Or even the clean your room. I want you to clean your room. What time are you gonna clean your room? That's considered also nagging as part of our parents. So parents, be careful not to fall into ourselves in that nagging category, okay? And lastly, stop ignoring as soon as the behavior stops, okay? Remember, this is immediate reward, okay? An example, if Nancy is playing rough with her toys, I will turn or shift my body completely away from her. The minute that she continues to play nicely or she starts playing nicely, I give her my attention. I praise. I like the way that you're playing with your toys nicely. Okay? This will tell the child immediately, oh, I'm not gonna get my mom's attention because I'm playing rough with the toys. Okay? Which is the behavior that they learned throughout this time. While mom gives the positive attention, they know, like, oh, so I gotta do this. And you'll catch yourself, I mean, the children, you'll catch your kids coming to you and telling you, mom, look what I'm doing. I'm playing nicely with my cars, okay? Warning. Beware.
And now your handout, session 5.4, bad behavior burst. Be aware. Be aware that when you start ignoring these bad behaviors, your child's attention is going to shift. Your child is going to increase that bad behavior because they're going to know that you are not noticing them. You're not paying attention to them. This is going to be temporarily. The bad behavior is going to increase a little bit because they want your attention. So you just have to stick to your plan, be consistent. Remember, consistency is a key to all this, for these skills to actually take place. So if you keep ignoring your child, as long as it's something that is not hurting themselves or hurting others, the child is going to drop that bad behavior and try to change that behavior to a positive behavior so we can give them that attention.
Remember, this is only temporary. It's not going to last forever. They're gonna give in and notice, like, okay, you know what, this is not working for me. I prefer the positive reward than ignoring.
Okay, parents, so now go to your handout session 5.5, which is noticing and ignoring worksheet. In this worksheet, we're gonna go through it together as a group, and then we're gonna discuss it once we are in our Zoom meeting. Mm-hmm. So Blanca and I are gonna work together, give you examples, and we're gonna talk about how we can put the rewarding and ignoring all together. Mm-hmm. So Blanca, what are some behaviors that you would like your child to change?
I have many, first of all, but I think the one that I'm more capable of following through with is my son. I have trouble with my son taking out the trash every night.
Okay, so so that's a behavior that you would like your child to change. What is a behavior that you want to decrease by ignoring this
Oh
behavior?
my God. When he does actually take out the trash, he whines, he's sassing back, he's talking back to me, or he's just, I hear him all the way out through the door.
Okay, and what would be the behavior that you want to increase by rewarding?
The behavior that I want him to increase, well, it would be, I would like for him to do it quietly, perhaps. Is that something? Yeah.
Okay. Good. So now these are some examples that you guys can use. Remember, we have a lot of things that we would like to change, and we want to ignore this bad behavior and reward the good behavior. But let's just concentrate on something that we can follow through, something simple.
Remember, we're going to review. Don't be afraid to start working on this worksheet. I know we have many behaviors that we wish to address, but pick something small right now, and we will help you during the Zoom meeting to address those specific behaviors. Okay? You're recording? Okay, parents, now go to your session 5-6, your worksheet. And we're going to talk more about the charts and the spinners, okay? And the importance of this, remember, a chart is utilized to change or modify a child's behavior to something positive. This will give them the motivation to look forward to a reward, whether it's have a turn to spin on the wheel, which Nancy will show you in a minute, right? Or get a reward of social reward, which is our praise and so on. Okay, again, motivation for our children. So the table, how it looks like, it will be something like this. Okay, here you're going to be given this sheet. You're going to indicate. You're going to write your child's name. It's important to sit down with your child to do this together to make it more personalized. Okay, if your child wishes to decorate this and color it, let it be. Okay, that's a great, so they could feel that this is part of themselves. Put your child's name, the child you're working with in this, and the behavior that you want to change or modify. For example, one that I have is, I have trouble with Nancy and Nancita, is going to bed on time. Okay, so it's always a hassle trying to get her to bed on time. So maybe that could be a behavior that is doable. Remember, go with something simple and small changes, and they will lead to greater things. Okay, so one is Nancy needs to go. What is that you want her to do? I want Nancy to go to bed on time. Okay, indicate, please be specific at the time that you wish for her to go to bed. Okay, once that's done, you put it here. It also gives you a weekly chart. Remember, consistency, the key to everything. So you're going to review this with Nancy or your child and say, Nancy, I need you to go to bed at this time. Okay, so every time Nancy does that, you put a happy face, a check mark, whatever, a sticker, whatever you want to put on. Okay, this has to be done 3 consecutive days. Okay, once that is done, Nancy will be eligible or get to spin on her spinner, which she'll explain to you in a minute. So remember that this doesn't always happen all the time. Okay, parents, this is where you're going to be responsible for this. If your child does go to bed, Nancy goes to bed at 8:30, the time that it was set. She does it on Monday, she does it on Tuesday, but on Wednesday, she doesn't listen or she doesn't go to bed. You do not mark that, and you start all over again. Okay, you start Thursday again, and it has to be consecutive. Remember, 3 consecutive days.
Yes, and like Blanca said, remember, if for some reason they did not do this behavior in one day, do not put any sad faces or an X
Cross
or a cross or anything. If when you do this actually what it does is that it it lowers the motivation of the child, and it makes the child feel bad or useless or that they can't do things. So we can that they're not capable. So what we want to tell them is that okay, we can start all over again, and you have another chance to begin with that behavior again until it remember is consistency, until it becomes something that it's done every day. And now to the spinners. You're gonna get a spinner in your package, and you're gonna sit down with your child, and you're gonna talk about the rewards that your child wants. Remember that rewards, we want to do more of the social rewards, the praising, things that you can do that are doable for you. And in this example, we put right here, treats from store. Make sure that when you guys talk about treats, it's something that you can do, something that you can buy.
Not an Xbox treat.
Yeah. Pick dinner.
Can I ask something really quick?
Sure.
Remember that reward has to follow through the same way that they're doing the effort and sacrifice for them to follow up with their chart. As parents, we cannot let them down. They need to be able to have this reward set and done. Okay.
Yes, another here says stay up an extra 15 minutes past bedtime. Go to the park. Remember, it doesn't have to be anything like with money. It doesn't have to be something you have to buy. Just some time with them. Please do not begin working on this on the actual chart and spinner. You may use your handouts, the back sheets of your handouts, to write notes of the things that your kids like as rewards, and also the things, the behaviors you want to change for your chart. But we're going to work on this during our Zoom meeting, so please wait until the Zoom meeting to begin, so that way we can explain you a little bit more in detail.
Parents, remember to, when we Zoom, to have handy your worksheet or your handout 3.3, things that my children like, so it could be helpful for each family, for each parent to identify what our kids like. Okay, this is going to be very helpful to make the spinners and the behavior charts. Okay.
And for home practice, please finish your worksheet 5.5, which is noticing and ignoring, and also continue brainstorming for your charts and spinners, the behaviors that you want to change for your children.
Continue doing your child's game. Okay, that's going to help create the bond in order to implement whatever we're going to come up with these following sessions. Okay. Parents, it is important to participate. Okay, do your homework. Remember, a parent is picked every week. 2 children are picked from the child's group, and you're eligible for the raffle for our family prize. Okay. See you next week, and see you in the next Zoom meeting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.